Welcome to Whippoorwill Holler. I'm Miss Lori and this is Mr. Brown. We live in the hills of Arkansas. We love the Lord. We love to cook. And we love to eat. We love to garden. We live a sustainable life. And every once in a while, we like to dance. Welcome back to Miss Lori's Kitchen. Today we're going to be taking a jot down memory lane. I remember sitting at the 5 and dime, the counter, and ordering me a chocolate malt. Do y'all remember the 5 and dime, the Woolworth? I was such a little girl, but I remember it so fondly. They had the neatest things in there, but the main thing I remember is their food counter, and I just loved it, especially their cheesecake. Y'all know how much I love doing these kind of recipes. These old vintage recipes, what you might call nostalgic recipes. I just love doing them. Most of all, I love eating them. But when something like this just brings back so many memories. And one of my fondest memories of a Woolworth was sitting at that counter as a little girl. I mean, I could barely get up in the stool. And I'd climb up there and I would order me a chocolate malt. I love them. I still love them. And another thing was they had the best grilled cheese. I can remember eating grilled cheese there. And the ham salads sandwiches. I mean, they just fixed and served just the plain, the easiest things. And they fed a lot of people. It was nothing fancy. It was just everyday simple food. And that was the Woolworth food counter for you. So I know a lot of y'all, my age and older, remember the Woolworth. And the food counter sitting there and getting you a chocolate soda or a chocolate malt or banana split or their famous cheesecake. Now this cheesecake was always made in a square pan, probably a 9 by 13, because they served it, when they served it on a platter, it was cut in squares. It wasn't cut in like you would regular cheesecake. These were cut in squares. So that's what we're going to be doing today, is making it in a 9 by 13. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get a cup of hot water. Excuse me. Now, just get hot water out of your tap. It needs to be really hot. You need about a cup. You don't have to go and put you some water on the stove and boil it. Just some good hot water out of the tap. Pretty hot. Because all you're wanting to do is, one of the ingredients in this cheesecake is a Jello lemon, lemon Jello. It's a box of lemon Jello. I'll get it out here in just a minute. Now, the old recipe calls for, it wasn't Jello brand, it was the Royal. Y'all remember the Royal gelatin and pudding mix? So this is one 3-ounce box of lemon Jello. And we're going to put this 1 cup of very hot water. And what we're going to do is we're just going to mix this up until it dissolves. And then we're going to just let this kind of cool down and let it thicken up slightly. You know, I know a lot of y'all that remember the Woolworth. I remember going in there and my grandmother down there in Texas, she would, that's where she'd buy my crayons and my pencils and paper and stuff like that. So I remember going in there and buying stuff like that. So I'm going to set my Jello aside. And right here in this pan or bowl, I've got 2 cups of graham cracker crumbs. Now you're going to need about 3 cups altogether. But I've got 2 cups in this bowl, and I've got a stick of melted butter. Now you could do that right here in your 9 by 13 pan, but I just like to mix mine up a little bit before I put it in there. You know, I remember the Woolworth too at Christmas time. They had the neatest decorations and just little, neat little Christmas gifts in there. Because, you know, it was also called the 5 and dime. So stuff was a pretty good price, you know, at the Woolworth. So just mix your graham crackers, your 2 cups of graham cracker crumbs, and your stick of butter. And I'm going to put them in my 9 by 13 pan. And I'm reserving this other cup. Now we're just going to spread this out in our pan. I know there's lots of different recipes from the Woolworth food counter. And one of them was a patty melt. I don't remember ever eating one. I do remember the grilled cheese and the ham salad sandwich though. And you always got some chips on the side with your sandwich. They've also made a tuna salad sandwich. Like I said, they just served everyday simple food there. So you can take your cup and just kind of go around the sides. So there you got your graham cracker crust. And you don't even have to put this in the refrigerator. I mean, unless you want to. So we got our Jell-O over here dissolving. We've got our graham cracker crust. So the next thing we're going to do is get our filling going. Well, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to whip up the whipped topping, because we're going to be putting heavy cream. We're going to be whipping up some heavy cream, making whipped topping. Now, in the original recipe, well, several of the recipes that I researched, they used carnation evaporated milk. And they would put it in the refrigerator and just get it really cold and then whip it up into whipped topping. Myself, I've never done that before. So I was questioning my ability of being able to whip up carnation evaporated milk into whipped topping. So I'm going to be using heavy cream. And some of the recipes that I found did use heavy cream. So I'm sure there's somebody out there that can tell me that, yes, Miss Ward, the original recipe does call for evaporated milk. So if that's the route you want to go, because I want to stay true to the recipes I can, I just don't want something not to work and mess up the whole recipe. I've got my 1.5 cups of heavy cream, and that's what I'm going to be using, is heavy cream. But a lot of the recipes call for carnation evaporated milk that you have put in the refrigerator and got really, really cold. Then they say shake it up good and then whip it like you would heavy cream. So if you want to try that instead of the whipping cream, it's going to be good either way. So I've got, whenever I'm making whipped cream, I always make sure that I put my bowl and my beaters in the freezer and I get them good and cold. Okay, it says to whip your 1.5 cups of heavy cream and whip it till stiff peaks. And you can see, I think we're about there. Now you're not going to add anything to this, no kind of sugar or anything, because we're going to be adding all that other stuff to it here in just a minute. So we got our whipping cream done. Now we're going to get our cream cheese and all that good stuff going. Is to take 8 ounces of cream cheese and a cup of sugar. You want your cream cheese to be a little bit soft. You don't want it to come directly into, room temp, but. So we've got a cup of sugar, 8 ounces of cream cheese, and I've got 5 tablespoons of lemon juice. Now you could even add a little bit of lemon zest to this too. Now that's not in the original recipe, but you could do that. So now all we're going to do is mix it up. I'm going to take our Jell-O our lemon gelatin here, and we just mixed it up with hot water till it dissolved, and it's not even thickened up much any. And we're just going to pour that in here, and then we're going to take our 1.5 cups of whipped topping and put it in here too, and we're just going to fold all this together. So maybe some of y'all that have had this cheesecake from Woolworth, or maybe one like it, you just never knew exactly how they got that certain flavor or taste to it. So maybe we all know the recipe now. And you're just going to kind of fold all this together. And it's going to be kind of loose. I'm not going to beat it with the mixer or anything like that. Just kind of fold it all together. Because we're going to put this in the refrigerator for about 2 hours. And it's going to sit up. You can tell it's already thickening up. And I can tell you right now, I just want to take a spoon and just eat it. I am one that loves cheesecakes. And I have a lot of cheesecake recipes. So just kind of keep folding it together. It's all going to come together. You don't want to beat it real fast or anything like that. And you just don't want no lumps or nothing like that in it. Just get it mixed up as good as you can. It smells really good. Lemony. In fact, a good cook always tastes her product. Or that's what I've always been told. Yes, yes, yes. So, this is going to be so good. I'm going to get my crust. We're going to pour this in the crust. And you're going to get several slices of cheesecake. Like I said, when they served it, they cut little squares and served them on a little plate. Just level that out the best you can. And like I said, it's going to be a little loose right now. But it's going to set up. And you know, I may have to just save the spatula for later. I may have to taste that. Now that I've made a mess, I'm going to take the rest, or most of it anyways, of the graham cracker crumbs, because they always put it on top too, not just the bottom. They always had graham cracker crumbs on the top. Now there's no sugar mixed in these graham cracker crumbs. They're just, in fact, there's no way I can use all this. So I'm going to say about 2.5 cups, even though the recipe calls for more. So there we go. That is our F.W. Woolworth Company Harvest House Cafeteria Icebox Cheesecake. And now we are going to put it in the refrigerator and chill it for about 2 hours. Then we're going to come back and cut it, and we're going to taste it. And I wanted to show y'all that this recipe is one of the recipes in my cookbook. F.W. Woolworth Company Harvest House Cafeteria Icebox Cheesecake. Page 32. In my Blessed Table cookbook. Okay, so here I am. I'm sitting at the counter at the Five and Dime, the Woolworth, and I've ordered me their famous cheesecake. You can see how good it's set up. Looks pretty. Now we're going to taste it. Looks creamy, smooth. You know, the thing about these cheesecakes, they didn't put sugar in the crust. So this cheesecake is not so overly sweet. It's just right. And it's just got that little hint of lemon in it, which makes it wonderful. So if y'all have never tried one of these cheesecakes, if you're not my age or older and ever had the experience of walking into Woolworth and sitting down at that counter and getting you a chocolate malt or a ham salad sandwich or a tuna salad sandwich or a piece of cheesecake or their famous root beer mug in a mug, in a frosted mug. It was an experience, something that I'll always remember. Plus all their little Five and Dime stuff that they had. It was just a neat place. So I hope y'all try this recipe. It's just a piece of nostalgia and I love it. And I love this recipe. This is a really good cheesecake. Bye guys. We'll see y'all in a couple of days. We're supposed to be getting some pretty rough weather here in a couple of days. But we'll make it through it just like we always do. We'll be cooking up something or doing something on the homestead. Who knows? So y'all come back and see us. God bless everybody. We love you. So good.